is madness. Absolute madness. Do you want to put it to shame?
No, Daddy, no.
You just want to leave a lucrative job at a multi-billion-dollar company to come and be singing with one woman I don't know?
Daddy, everybody knows Jennifer Jackson. She sang.
If you have to introduce her to me, then she's nobody. Nobody. There is no future here, hear me? There is no future here.
Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hypatia Olushio Tushuku, and on this channel I talk about faith, lifestyle and gospel movie review. If you're new to this channel, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. In this video, I'll be reviewing the movie titled The Blueprint. The Blueprint was directed by John Oguntuashe, and you can find it on Solid Rock Foundations TV on YouTube. It tells the story of two cousins, Yemi and Ivy, who were close. They seemed to hit certain milestones at similar time. Yemi graduated with the first class and Ivy graduated with the third class. So it seemed like Yemi had a lot in her favor. However, they both got a word of prophecy from Yemi's pastor telling them that God had anointed them to be global ministers and global representatives of his kingdom. So they went about their life. Yemi got a job offer. Ivy got an offer during her service year. Then one day Yemi saw a vision of herself and Ivy, and they were both given a letter from a man wearing white telling them that that letter contained the paths they needed to take in their life journey, so they should read it and follow the paths that had been designed for them. Immediately Yemi saw a car come by. She stopped it, hopped on it and left, while Ivy opened the letter to start studying it. Yemi woke up from that vision and went about her life. Shout out to the producers and the entire cast and crew of the movie The Blueprint. The actors did an excellent job bringing the characters to life. The Blueprint was a very refreshing movie to watch, and I liked how it laid emphasis on purpose, comparison, fulfillment and patience. One of the things that stood out for me in the movie was how Yemi's life evolved. So Yemi felt God leading her towards music ministry. She found someone God was leading her to serve under, and while she was with her, she acted impatient. So Jennifer Jackson was the lady Yemi was learning under, and Yemi was almost always complaining about how she joined the music group because she saw that they had a global vision. But Jennifer Jackson was always telling Yemi to hold on because God hadn't given them the go ahead to go international yet. And in one of her conversations with Jennifer Jackson made a statement that they are not in competition with anybody. In God's time, God would bring to pass what he has promised them, and that stood out for me. So Yemi couldn't stay in the group any longer. She left the music group and decided to go into the corporate world just like her father desired for her. She returned to the corporate world, started working under someone, was unhappy at the way she was being treated at her workplace. One of the days, her pastor came to visit her and shared the vision he had of her and Ivy, how that she was in the vehicle that was moving. Then she saw a vehicle that Ivy was inside, and the vehicle drove past her in so much speed, and she got down from the vehicle she was moving because she felt like the vehicle was too slow, and she hopped into another ride and sort of pursued after Ivy, then got to a destination. And when she got to that destination, she got told that they weren't expecting her there because that was not her expected destination, and the pastor was just encouraging her to stick with what God has called her to do, and was asking her if there was anything she needed to share, and she was like, no, there was nothing. But deep down, Yemi understood what that vision meant. It just spoke volume to me of how we get lost in wanting the life that someone else have, and we are not concerned about having the life that God has called us to have. Yemi at that point knew she had to resign from her job, not because it was a bad job, but because that was not the path God had called her into. God had called her into music ministry. So she took some time to go back to God in repentance. She prayed, and even though there was a lot of opposition, it wasn't an easy thing being a Yemi in the movie because her parents didn't support her. Sometimes the mother would support the child pursuing their vision and God's plan for their life. Sometimes the father would be the one supporting. But in this case, both her father and mother didn't support her being in music. So even though her cousin Ivy supported her, she sort of felt like the support wasn't genuine because she saw herself as being in competition with Ivy, Whereas Ivy was just living her life according to the way God has called her to live, doing her own things and pursuing her own dreams and visions as God had called her to do. And she wasn't even in competition with Yemi at all. So Yemi was in competition with someone who wasn't competing with her. She was competing on a path that she wasn't called to run through. So Yemi repented and went back to the studio and sort of had to start afresh. And that spoke volume of the mercy of God, how you make mistakes and you veer out of track. And while God is merciful, most times your actions have consequences and you would have to sometimes go back to the point where you missed it and start afresh or continue the journey from there. And most of the time, you may have lost time and you may have lost resources too. So by the time Yemi was going back into music, she had learned her lesson and she had learned to stay with God and wait on God to really discover what it was He would have her do. And she met Naomi Richards, another musician who had served under Jennifer Jackson, and Naomi Richards showed interest in Yemi and they started talking. And at some point, Naomi Richards tested Yemi to see if she was a changed person truly, to see the state of her heart. And I was so glad that Yemi passed that test. And Naomi Richards made a statement in that scene that it is not so much about what God has called you to do as much as it is about what God is using that calling to do in your life.
You see, my point is, it's not so much about what God has called you to do as much as it is about what God is using that calling to do in your life. You see, Yemi, I was testing you earlier. And I can see that you're really mindful of God. That song of yours is going to be a hit. I can feel it strongly.
Another thing that's well for me in the movie The Blueprint is that comparison is a deadly trap. And if you set yourself up to fall into it, you're going to be depriving yourself of a lot of things. And while sometimes it seems difficult to not compare yourself with other people because of the standards of success society has placed on individuals. So you feel like once I'm a certain age, I should have done this and done that. And if I haven't done that yet, then I'm not successful. However, that's not the way God measures success. True success is actually being in the plan and purpose of God per time, per season. And while watching the movie, I had to take some time to just pause and reflect. And I remember the video I watched online where Daddy Mike Bamiloye was having a conversation. I can't remember with whom, but then he was saying something like he is called into drama ministry. So his own assignment is to wait on God, get those scripts, write those movies, shoot them and produce them. Well, some other musicians, I think Case Baba was in that conversation. I was like, oh, your call is to write songs and produce songs. So while he's busy waiting on God for movies and shooting those movies, Gaze Baba and the other musicians, they are busy waiting on God for songs, and everyone is important in God's agenda. So what's your own assignment? What has God called you to do? Focus on that one. So you don't have to be Daddy Mike Bamiloye before you are a successful servant of God. You don't have to be Gaze Baba or Lawrence Oyo before you are a successful music minister. You don't have to be Apostle Joshua Selman or Apostle Aromel Sai before you are a successful preacher or an apostle. Just focus on that thing God has called you to do. And while there's room to grow, your competition shouldn't be with someone else. Your competition should be with yourself. The desire should be to grow into the fullness of what God has called you into. And there's also a place of patience in waiting. I know it's not easy, and I may not understand the depth of what you go through in your waiting season. However, one of the things that would help you while waiting on God for what seems to be taking time, what seems like a delay, is to stay in the place of prayer. So while you're busy with what God has called you to do, you have to wait on God in prayer and ensure that you have a working and functional relationship with God, such that you are sure that this is where God will have me be, and not that you're supposed to be a step forward, you're supposed to have obeyed an instruction, but you're not doing that. But when you're sure that you're right where God will have you be, you also know that God is working out everything for your good, and God makes everything beautiful in His time, and in His time He's going to lift you up. So don't go weary, don't be discouraged, don't get tired. Sometimes, like they said in the movie, it's not so much about what God has called you to do, but what God is using that calling to do in your life. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do so. Also give this video a thumbs up And I look forward to reading your comments. If you have watched the blueprint, what stood out for you in the movie? If you haven't watched it yet, what stood out for you in this review?
Do you even have any idea of how much I have put into this journey?
It doesn't matter. It's not about how much you have put into the journey. It's about arriving at the right destination.
But you just let Ivy in.
Yes. The address on her letter is different from yours. Why would you follow her?
Because she was faster. And this place looks really nice.
It doesn't matter. This is her destination, not yours. You have two options now. You can either turn around and find your way before it's dark, or stuck here and waste away.